Hello, everybody, and welcome to reacting to two true YouTuber horror stories. Wow, that delivery was terrible, but let's keep going. It's been a little while since we reacted to a horror story, or two, or three, or more. And just as last time, after we watched this video, uh, credits to the people. You'll see their stuff. It's SSG Animations. Don't forget to subscribe to them. I'll most likely leave it down in the description. A link maybe. I'm not sure if that's how that works, but yep. And at the end of this video, I'm going to tell a story of my own. It's not going to be related to YouTube because that has yet to happen. Let's hope it doesn't. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna be telling my own story after watching this, and yeah, thank you for all the love and support. I see you guys in my comment sections and everything down below, and yeah, let's get into it. This story is based on a paranormal experience a content creator had on the platform in the story.
Hey, my name is Gary. I used to be a well-known Pokemon YouTuber who is now inactive. My channel was based on finding shiny Pokemons, the hardest ones to find, and people started to support me a lot when I made lives. To tell you the
Okay,
truth, I was never into
Pokemon.
paranormal and I didn't need that kind of attention to grow my YouTube channel. My fans know me and they know this, so when weird things started happening in my house, everyone believed me. It all started during a stream. That night it was a little colder than usual, which
that his
caught my
house?
attention as the apartment was quite warm. I was in the middle of a stream, and I never said this, but I was a bit uncomfortable. I don't know how to explain this, but I had a bad feeling.
Wait a damn second. Is it just me, or does this look like Shane Dawson? Where's the cat? I don't see the cat. Let's keep going.
A feeling that something was wrong. Obviously, I didn't want to share it. When you are live on the air, you always try to put your best face forward, even when you are casual. Make no mistake, I was always a very honest YouTuber, and I didn't force things, but I also couldn't make a fuss about anything.
Honesty is the best policy.
It may have just been a weird feeling at the time, but just in case, I was more aware of my surroundings than usual, and it was because of this that I realized something was wrong. At one point in the night, the door behind me simply closed. I guess you were wondering what's so strange about a door closing, right? Well, let me tell you the answer. Everything. There wasn't a drop of wind blowing in this apartment. When I started shooting a video or live, I made sure all the windows were closed to avoid ambient noise. For a moment I thought that Alan, my roommate, was the one who closed the door, but then I remembered that he wasn't home. I told my audience to wait a moment. I had to check that everything was okay. Maybe
He's
Alan
live
was playing a
streaming.
sick joke on me, although that was definitely not
He's
his
built
style.
like me.
I checked the entire apartment, and it was easy to tell that Alan was gone. I saw him leave a few hours earlier for college, and I never heard him come back. Besides, his keys weren't there either. I checked window by window, and to my surprise, none of them were open. I went back confused to continue the stream, still wondering what could have happened, but once I got back, everything got worse. The feeling that something was wrong got bigger, and the cold also increased. And all the comments on my stream said pretty much the same thing. The door closed again. I was very scared, but I tried to pretend that nothing had happened and went on with my stream. Obviously, we talked about it for the rest of the stream, but I didn't take it as a big deal. To tell you the truth, I was terrified, but I didn't want to worry people or give them too much importance. Some were capable of believing that it was all staged. Once I closed the stream, I immediately checked the footage from when I left, and it was true. The door had closed on its own again. I looked the door up and down, did some tests, and even went back to make sure that no wind was coming in from anywhere, but nothing succeeded. The fact that the door closed at the same time that I was ill-disposed and felt that something was wrong with the place really had no explanation. Normally, I appreciated times of solitude, but at that moment, I just wanted my friend to get there as soon as possible, and he too would see that something was wrong. Instead of waiting for him or trying to edit the video, I simply decided to take a nap. After all that, I definitely needed to rest for a while.
Wait a damn second. You're telling me that your door closed behind you while you were live streaming and you decided to take a nap? Buddy, there are different times to take naps, and this is not one of those times. Especially if you have a paranormal person in your house or an intruder.
In what was
Oh, yeah,
probably
let me
the
like the
worst
video.
decision of my life, I
you
went to
go.
bed next to the computer and took a short nap. The alarm clock was set for 40 minutes from now, just enough time to get some rest while I didn't miss the rest of the night. I couldn't help but feel a great sense of discomfort, and the cold still wouldn't go away even if I covered up, but despite all that, I fell asleep pretty quickly. I opened my eyes a few minutes later. I knew the 40 minutes hadn't passed, the alarm hadn't gone off, and I felt like I had only slept for 10 or 15 minutes. I woke up really very uncomfortable. My body felt a huge discomfort as if I had a fever, but different. When I have a fever, the discomfort is internal, but this was not. I felt that something was wrong, but I didn't know what. At the same time, the temperature in the room had dropped much lower. The place was freezing, and that didn't make any sense since when I grabbed my cell phone to quickly check the weather service said that today was going to be a hot night. I tried to sleep a little longer, covering myself as tightly as I could. I closed my eyes and drifted off to sleep, but this time, a noise woke me up. It was the sound of the door opening and closing. The door opened and closed in the same way as before, but this time there was a big difference. Behind the door, opening and closing, was a person. A very tall, white-haired man was opening and closing the door with a big smile on his face. His smile seemed very forced. He actually seemed to be furious. At first, I thought he was just a normal man, an intruder who was in the house trying to scare me, but instantly I realized that this was much worse. The more I looked at this man, the more certain I became that, as crazy as he looked, this was not a human. His skin was too white as if he were a corpse. His eyes
That's
had
a
a lot
damn
of black
vampire!
shadows, and the center of his eyes were red. Normally you would think that they were contact lenses, but no, it was something different. His eyes looked natural. It was a great flame red that seemed to intensify with each passing second. I thought about asking him who he was or what he wanted, but I knew it didn't make any sense. Just by looking at him, it was easy to see that I was not going to be able to reason with him, and even if I could, his motives for stalking me were surely much worse than not knowing anything. I didn't know what to do. The man was opening and closing the only door I...
Hold up. If he is on the top floor of his apartment, you know what he has to do? He has to grab his hammer, smash his little glass, obviously that he has there, grab the parachute, the emergency parachute, and jump out the window or glider like Fortnite. Like just fly. That's what he's got to do. That's what he's got to do. That's what you got to do in this situation, or jump and grab for a damn palm tree. Something.
Had to escape. I decided that if I was going to think of a strategy or a way to escape, the first step was not to lie down. I tried to get up, but my body didn't respond. I felt completely paralyzed, as if I had the worst sleep paralysis in my life. I knew how I was supposed to act in sleep paralysis, but none of that mattered at that moment. I despaired. I moved my whole body to wake up, but I only managed to get the attention of that being, and when I looked up, I noticed that he was no longer at the door. Was he gone? No.
Oh, nah.
The man was at the foot of my bed.
Whoa!
Slowly across my bed, getting closer and closer to me. I tried to defend myself, to wake up, to do anything, but it only made things worse. The man was in front of me. Once I had him face to face, I could immediately see. His mouth opened, and it was as if his whole face had opened. From it, he pulled out a long...
What the hell? Why is everyone I react to, they have their tongues out? Put your tongue away!
Fate not so painful. And suddenly, as if it was nothing, I woke up. I remember waking up agitated, nervous, and with a lot of chest pain. I got up and nervously went to the kitchen to get a glass of water.
He still has that thing on his face!
New. My cheek. It was wet with saliva.
Oh, that's
in
disgusting.
the same position where the demon licked me. Before that discovery, I was paralyzed with fear and began to cry. It was then when the noise of the door returned. I looked up, and the door kept opening and closing by itself. To tell you the truth, I didn't want anything to do with that door. I tried to slowly approach the cell phone to film, but something prevented me from doing so. The door stopped banging on its own, but was replaced by something. Footsteps. I began to hear very slow, heavy footsteps moving away from the door. Those footsteps were heading in my direction. I grabbed the keys and ran as fast as I could. I was trying to open the door, but my nerves made me make mistakes and take more time. As I put the key in, the footsteps picked up speed and kept heading in my direction. Once the door opened, I ran as fast as I had ever run in my life. I didn't care if I was in my pajamas or looked crazy. I just wanted to run and run. You know, I never went back to that apartment again. My roommate was very scared by the story, and he also moved out as soon as possible. I never knew what that demon was or why he wanted to hurt me. Nowadays, I don't work on YouTube anymore.
That demon is a
Sometimes
freak.
I miss it and think about going back, but every time I think about it, I see that video with the door closing and opening, and I don't want to. I don't know what it was that attracted that demon, but the memory is still very much alive, and I'm afraid that monster is not finished with me yet.
His nose is so crooked.
Everyone wants to be an influencer. Be it a 15-year-old kid or a 51-year-old person.
True.
In this world where social media is synonymous with life, people want to showcase their life on various social media. This is mostly to show people how successful, happy, or rich they are. But no one really
Kinda
knows
true.
the reality behind the life of an influencer. It's a rat race that everyone wants to participate in.
Cover that up.
A few years ago, I too wanted to become a social media influencer. Specifically, a YouTuber. I was in high school, and instead of thinking about college,
Wait a damn second. Is she gonna say that she was trying to become a YouTuber and then she got one scary little ghost and then was like, no more YouTube for me? You didn't want to be a YouTuber. I'm not gonna let one ghost experience, unless it's really, really bad and they tell me that if I continue doing YouTube, they're going to haunt me and lick my face every single night that I live for the rest of my life, then I would quit YouTube. But otherwise, I'm here to stay. Yep.
I was thinking about getting good quality cameras and lighting to film my YouTube videos.
Lighting, camera,
At least 20% of
action.
students in my high school were already YouTubers.
Oh,
They were making at least some kind of money off it too. I wanted that too. I already had a YouTube channel on which I used to post vlogs. of my
53K
daily
subs!
makeup tutorials
You made it!
and such things. But I was hardly getting any views.
What?
My parents
Those are bot! Those are bot as hell! How do you have 53K subs and you only got 5 views? Whoa! Hey, yo, no, those are bot. Those are bot.
about colleges and which degree I wanted to pursue. But all I wanted to do was be a famous YouTuber.
Mr. Beast?
Mr. Beast. However, I wasn't having any success in doing that.
Mr. Beast!
Recording a video in my room. The doorbell rang. I was the only one in the house, as my parents had gone off to a function, and we
They
weren't
went to the
expecting
function.
anyone. I opened the door, and an old
Oh.
woman in her 60s was standing by the door.
That's
with a pie.
competition right there. Knock her
How
out.
may I help you? I said in an irritated tone as I was in the middle of filming.
Ooh.
Oh, I hope I'm not interrupting anything. I'm Joey. My family moved into the house down the street, and I just wanted to give this pie. Are your parents home? Joey asked, peeping inside. No, they're not. That's a shame. Never mind. Take this, and I will come down later. She handed me a pie and left. The pie looked delicious, and
That
I
does
was
look good.
hungry. I dished some out and started eating. I had paused the recording anyway. Might as well eat something.
Yep.
The blueberry pie was heaven, and I did not know how and when I ended up eating the whole thing. The next day, I saw Jo walking her dog around the block. For some reason, I walked up to her.
Yo. Why does the dog look like that? What are you looking at me for?
Jo, the pie was so delicious. I loved it. Thanks. Oh, dearie. Good that you enjoyed it. If you want any more, you can visit me at house number 1254. I started walking.
The
when she
pie was
called
that
out,
way. The pie was that
"Hey,
good?
dearie, what is your name? By any chance, is it Maline? I was shocked that this lady knew my
She's
name.
a
as I
follower.
had never introduced myself.
She subscribed.
Yes.
She was one of the 4
It's
people.
Maline. How did you know? Oh, My grandson watches your videos on his computer.
Bull
On
crap.
that website, what it's called? YouTube? YouTube.
You know
That
YouTube.
one. I said bye to her, and she went on her way.
I know she's on
It
Facebook
was
24/7,
nice
but
to
she
be
knows
recognized by
YouTube.
someone for being a YouTuber. This was my first time.
YouTube.
Later that day, I observed that I had a few new subscribers, and my videos had got some more views and likes.
Some?
Also, there was a new email in my inbox. When I opened the email, it was from some talent manager company that wanted to help me grow my channel. When I emailed them back,
Don't
asking
mess with
how
that.
I got to know
Don't
about
mess with
me,
that.
they told me that Joey had told one of their employees about me. That was strange. I corresponded with the agency, and they started sending me tips and tools to grow my YouTube channel. I started following them, and voila, my channel was growing. Before my high school year
Bullcrap.
ended, I had the most subscribers, and my channel was the biggest. I kept meeting Joey, and she was the friendliest person ever. Once I graduated, one evening, I got an email from the talent management agency to attend a party organized for the best talent working with the agency, and I was invited. I was so excited to
Bro.
go, as I had
What the hell is that pose? Hold up. Let me try to get in the camera and do that. Y'all can't even see me from back here, probably. You can... Hold up. Let me move this damn chair. Okay, that works. She's doing too
finally
much.
made it
She's
as a
doing too
YouTuber.
much.
Being invited to an influencer party was a
Look
big
at her.
thing for me. I bought a new dress and even made a video of me doing my makeup to go to an event.
Nice.
Luckily, the venue wasn't far from my house, so I drove there. I was escorted inside, and there were a lot of people. The lighting was low, and I could see some semi-famous YouTubers. I spoke to a few of them,
Where am I
and
at?
they told me that they were
I'm not
approached
there.
by the talent management
I'll be up
agency
there.
when they were still unknown YouTubers. Suddenly, a spokesperson walked up the stage and welcomed us. She started speaking about how the company had helped so many influencers grow. However, after the heartfelt speech, the spokesperson said that there was going to be a small ritual that the owner of the company wanted to perform with us to ensure the success of the company. I
Nah.
have never been to such a party, but I knew that doing some rituals wasn't a part of it. Many
Nope.
influencers had the same reaction as me. The guests at the party started whispering. I even thought about sneaking out, but then noticed security standing at every exit. One influencer even tried to leave, but she was escorted back to the party by the security team. I knew there was something wrong here,
What?
so I tried to hide. But there was no place to hide, so I just stood on my spot, waiting for things to unfold. I tried calling, but suddenly, my cell phone had no reception, and I could see many
That's why
other
you don't
people
accept
around me
This
had no
type of
reception
stuff.
either.
You gotta make it to the
Was
top
this
yourself.
A trap? The waitress arrived with a tray of shots, but instead of alcohol, the glasses were filled with some red liquid.
That's crazy.
We were asked to pick one glass and drink. I was hesitant at first, but when I realized that we had no choice, I drank it.
Oh.
As soon as I drank it, the metallic taste of it
Oh
hit my
nah.
tongue.
That's
was
blood.
blood.
That's literally blood.
There was something mixed in it. The spokesperson once again began to talk, but I could hear nothing. My vision started to blur, and after a few seconds, everything went black. The next day, I got up in my own bed. I was still dressed in last night's clothes, but I had no clue how I had gotten home or what had happened after I had drunk the liquid. That evening, I got an email. It was from the talent management agency, and they had given me an address to which
Wait a fucking second. Sorry for cursing. Wait a second. You're telling me you went to this party, they did a ritual, they made you drink literal blood, and you're still a part of this agency? The subscribers are not worth it. But go ahead and hit me up whenever you can.
I was required to go. I was still feeling funny, so I decided to ignore the email. But there was an attachment in the email.
Oh gosh.
When I opened it, I was shocked. There were pictures of me in compromising positions that had been clicked after I blacked out at the party. The last sentence
That's
of
insane.
the email read that if I did not go to the address, these photos would be leaked and my reputation would be destroyed. I thought about my
They
parents.
built you up and they're gonna
who
break
would
you
against
down.
me being a YouTube influencer. They would be heartbroken if these pictures ever came out. So, I went to the address at the given time. It was yet another party. But this party was
Damn.
very different. It was full of wealthy people. And I was asked to dance.
Am I tripping, or is that guy's head longer than 2 footballs? Is that Beavis from Beavis and Butthead? Alright.
In front of these people and then perform explicit acts with men. I can't specify the details of what I did or was forced to do. But that night,
that's
when I
terrible.
returned home, I was a totally different person. I was dead from within and destroyed. The agency kept on helping me to grow my YouTube channel, and I had started to earn decent money from my channel. But every now and then, they would send me such addresses, and I was forced to go and do whatever was asked of me. These people were pimping me, and I was trapped. I had no idea where to ask for help. It's been 3 years now. I'm a very famous YouTuber. You might have even seen my stories, but I'm still not free from this trap. Please, help me.
What the hell? You're telling me that she's still doing it just to be a famous YouTuber? Well, I mean, why do I say just to be? Who doesn't want to be a famous YouTuber? Well, I guess a lot of people. But I do. And you are going to help me. Probably. But yeah, that story is crazy and pretty sad. But I don't get why the person is still doing it. Yeah, I don't get that. But yeah, all right. Now that that's over, let's get to my story. Now, this story takes place in my cousin's house. When I was younger, I used to go over to his house. Let's call this cousin Michael. Yeah, Michael. So I'd go over to Michael's house, and he lived quite a bit away. So I'd have to sleep over at his house when I went there. And this house, when I was younger, let's say I was about like 10 or like 9, 8, somewhere in that ballpark. This person's house was haunted. You could just go in there and you could feel that like this place wasn't safe at all. Like there was something here. If you ever weren't like, this house had 2 stories. If you were ever on a single story by yourself, especially the second floor, and nobody else was up there, you felt like somebody was up there. You could feel it. Somebody was up there. Because this one time I went up the stairs because I needed to use the restroom. There was one restroom downstairs and one restroom upstairs. Downstairs was occupied, so I had to go upstairs to use the restroom. And I had to use the restroom really bad. And I went up the stairs slowly. And when you go up the stairs, there's this railing to your left. Imagine you're walking up, and then there's this railing that you can see through that, like, in the bathroom is over there. um, I went up and I started slowly walking up, and I get this feeling like I'm up here and I'm alone. I need to use the restroom, but I can feel something. Like I'm walking up and I'm looking into the bathroom, and it's just pitch black. Like you can see the door, and then inside the bathroom is pitch black. You can't see, and I just felt that something was up there. If I couldn't see it, I'm getting goosebumps right now. If I couldn't see it, I knew something was up there, and nobody was up there. I could feel it down my freaking spine. Somebody was up there. I remember this one time also. This is going to be a huge little group of stories about this person's house. This one time, I slept in Michael's older sister's room, and it was like 3 a.m. I fell asleep. I had a computer in front of me. I fell asleep watching a show on Netflix. And my brother, Kevin, he fell asleep right next to me. He's older than me. He fell asleep right next to me on the floor. We were on the floor because there was not any more room on the bed or whatever. And we wake up at like 3 a.m. because the computer was still on. So it was like fumes were coming out of it. Like the hot fumes were coming out of it. It burned. Well, it was burning my brother's hand. So he woke up because it was so hot on his hand. And he woke me up. And when we're awake, we start hearing the door rattling. And it's 3 a.m. The door's locked. We start hearing the door rattle. And we're on the second floor. And we're like, what the hell's going on? We hear the door rattling. We're scared, so we hide under a blanket. At least I did. And the door keeps rattling and rattling, like if someone's trying to get in. And then moments later, since we're on the second floor, we feel something like we're on the floor. We feel something poking up, like trying to like thump at us. Like if someone grabbed a broom and was like poking at the roof to like bother us or something. What is that? At 3 a.m., something is trying to open the door and poke at us from under with something. It didn't have to even be a broom. It literally could have been like something. I don't know what. Ooh, it's so scary. But yeah. I always like remember feeling that this house was like haunted, super haunted. And yeah, being alone in one of those rooms did not feel safe at all. Like upstairs, if you ever went upstairs and you were by yourself, no, don't even think about it. Because I think even my parents told me once, because they slept over there one time too. They told me that they were sleeping, and on the second floor, while they were sleeping, outside of the wall where the bed frame was, let's imagine the bed is like back there, they're sleeping back there, the wall is behind them, they're on the second floor. They said they heard, like, if someone was crawling on the outside of the house, on the wall, on this second floor, someone was like crawling on the side of the house, and that's what they heard. And yeah, tons of other paranormal stuff in that house that I've heard about. In later years, it went away because the family got more religious, I guess, and maybe that scared the thing away. I don't know, but I remember one last thing. I remember at that house as kids, we'd always play around because there'd be a train right behind the house. Could be a possibility for why that stuff was the way it was. There was a train track behind the house, and every now and then a train would pass, and you'd hear the chugga 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 chugga, and then the choo choo. You'd hear the train, and we'd run because we made it up in our minds that when that train passed by, so did like the Grudge or the Llorona, one of those damn things would come and like get us if we didn't hide when the train passed by. And who knows, maybe there was something there because of that train, a lost soul or demon. I don't know what it was, but Something about that house was haunted. And I am not lying. Something about that house was haunted. And if you guys have any stories of your own, any horror stories of your own, go ahead and leave it down in the comment section below. Or what do you think of my horror story? And yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below, like I just said. And thank you guys for watching the video. Follow me on TikTok and Instagram at AlexWillNot. I'll leave it down in the description to make it easier for you to find. And with all of that being said, I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!